Hey, this is John Bohlinger with Premier Guitar. So today we're going to talk about my new column for Last Call. But first I want to give a shout out to Keeley, who is the sponsor for that column. For the record, I run my steel through a Keeley compressor pretty much all the time. It's a pretty magical pedal because it makes all those kind of harmonic overtones just ring. So give it a try. Anyway, I got my buddy Chris Keys here. Let's talk about some Last Call stuff. Chris!
Yeah, man.
Good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you as well. Chateau Relaxo.
Chateau Relaxo, that's right. So we're talking about my my latest column. And okay, so the United States, undeniably, this sounds a little overly patriotic perhaps, but
Okay.
we've as far as genres of music, we have nailed it. We gave the world the blues,
Yeah.
we gave the world jazz, gave the world rock and roll, rap, country, bluegrass.
Plenty of all those subgenres.
So-
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we nailed it. But as far as instruments, the majority of the instruments came from Europe or elsewhere. So I maintain that the pedal steel is the most American instrument.
Now, is this just a random thought, or did you do some digging and have a little bit of studies to back this up?
Started with a random thought, did a little research, and I think I'm onto something because there's a couple other. If you Google American instruments, first one comes up is banjo, which is actually the country of origin is Africa. On the
So wrong there.
Yeah, so wrong there. Thanks for nothing, Google. Next, there's this weird instrument that Ben Franklin invented, which was, have you ever had a crystal glass and you rub it with some water on your finger and it makes this sound?
Yeah.
He turned that into a very complex instrument.
Can see that happening.
Yeah. I mean, he was
Ben.
he was a forward thinker, a bold thinker. Didn't really catch on, wildly impractical, big, expensive,
Kind of like a theremin.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Yeah, only less practical.
Yeah.
It couldn't really be amplified. So, and then there was another crazy instrument. I can't remember the name, but it's in that column, and it was basically train whistles that would be played kind of like an organ, and it was crazy loud. I mean, loud as a train whistle. So
Yeah.
there's no, and as big as a truck. So those were a couple of the instruments that Google did list, but they didn't list the pedal steel, and this is absolutely an American instrument. It started with the lap steel, which had its origin in Hawaii. And you can kind of get into that in the column, but essentially a Hawaiian kid found a railroad spike and knocked it against the guitar and said, "Wow, that's kind of a cool sound." Developed that, then brought it to the mainland, and it became wildly popular.
Yeah.
So popular, in fact, that it began working its way into country music. But even guys like Louis Armstrong used it on record.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
The Hawaiian guitar thing was a huge.
Yeah, I know that in the 30s and 40s for sure.
Oh yeah, huge, and a lot of people kind of got their start in that. But then, musicians, being what they are, they kept thinking, well, we need to get more out of this static tuning. So then they built multiple necks, whereas I think Fender did as many as like 4 or 5 necks.
Wow, the Rick Nielsen.
Yeah,
Five-necker.
exactly. So there's these big monstrosities, and then somebody said, well, what if we just were able to change the tuning? And again, details are in the column. I encourage you to read it. But eventually they figured out, well, we could put in some pedals and then some knee levers and make it where you can get all these different changes. You know, basically go from your 1 to your 4 and everything in between, which is really, really ingenious. And I think very American, because I think our whole country was founded by people that had some crazy ideas that maybe didn't work
Yeah.
with everybody else. And we're innovative people. And this impractical, weird instrument is a perfect example. No, first of all, the tuning on this, it's an E9 tuning, which when I first got a steel, I had no idea how to do it, because you have both, you have your tonic, your 1, but you also have a major 7th and then a dominant 7th. And so it's just a cacophony. If you play the strings open, it's a cacophony.
It's not pleasant.
No, it's not pleasant. But when you add this guitar, this is a Show Pro, and I've got 5 knee levers, 2 going sideways, 1 going up, and then 4 pedals. So you have just every option imaginable. And again, I think this is much like these other American instruments, just weird, impractical ideas.
Yeah.
But this one, it actually worked.
This one's stuck.
Yeah.
No, I know this is going to get off topic a little deeper, because it's mainly trying to get you guys to read, which I don't know if people do that anymore.
Yeah.
But I'm going to take this opportunity. Tell me quickly what the knee levers do in terms of shifting, and then the pedals down below.
The pedals down below, the first 3, which are conventional, they will raise different combinations. So that'll give you that whole, 1, 4. And it will give you, like a 2 minor and a few different options like that. The 4th pedal, which is a little more obscure, actually lowers. So, which is, a cool move.
Yeah.
Up top, the knee levers will lower, pretty much exclusively lower, to give you different color tones. Right there, I'm lowering with the going up, giving you kind of a 4 minor thing. Anyway, what I love about this instrument is I kind of think the most interesting music comes from not so much what we're trying to do, but what happens when we're trying to do something.
Yeah.
As Miles Davis said, where I really need to lean into, Miles said, "Don't fear mistakes, there are none." And on pedal steel, because you have all these different options that are raising and lowering, plus you have no frets, and a bar that's moving around, and an instrument that is kind of imperfect anyway, because as you raise and lower, there's some cabinet drop, and you have a lot going on. But because that, God, you just will stumble upon really beautiful color tones and melodic bits that
you can't get anywhere else.
Yeah, they're endlessly interesting. And the good thing about pedal steel, you're never wrong until your left hand stops. Just keep going until it sounds right and stop there.
Now, how did you get into pedal steel? I'm sure it was out of necessity of you being a sideman and trying to get all as many gigs as you can. But
right.
But what was the foot in the door?
Okay, what really did it for me? There was a TV show called Nashville Star, and I was the band leader on it. And TV being what it is, the network wanted a young, vivacious, cool-looking band. But it was very hard to find a young pedal steel player because it's an old dude instrument. I mean, number one, it takes a while to get into, and in the 90s, pedal steel was big, and so it was like chicken picking, fast kind of stuff, all that Brent Mason stuff. And then with the change of the century, that all changed as well. And fewer people were playing pedal steel, and sounds became more kind of rocky in country music.
Yeah.
But I really had a difficult time finding a youngish pedal steel player that looks good on
Ready
TV.
steel guy.
Yeah. And it occurred to me, I thought, well, man, soon I will be this old guy. At the time, my hair was black and I looked younger than this. So that to extend my career, I need to get an instrument you can play a lot longer, because eventually they're going to say, hey, sit down, old man, get in back, have the young, good-looking guy up front of the guitar. So I'm really glad I took it out, part of this kind of practical thing of extending my expiration date on working. But the great thing about it is it's, number one, the musical journey has been beautiful. And it's made me a better guitar player. It's made me a better musician. It's made me hear things better. It made me look at, number one, like blocking is really important on steel, and it made me realize all the slop I had in my electric playing, and my guitar playing as well. Helped my intonation, helped me play less on guitar and kind of find my sweet spot in it.
Yeah.
So it's made me a better musician all the way around, and it's given me a lot more work. I think I do. Oftentimes I'll get these utility spots where I'm playing steel and mandolin and harmonica and guitar and dobro, and steel's really opened all those doors. So I'm really, every now and then I look back to my younger self and say, thank you, younger self, for doing that.
Well, it's cool because it's starting to kind of come back. I don't say in vogue, but it's starting to come back. You know, obviously, Chris Stapleton is touring, and he brings out Paul Franklin.
Yes.
Which is kind of like what Vince did.
Yep.
Bringing Paul back into,
absolutely.
When he started doing certain records in the 80s and 90s, because he knew Paul was this, he was, not want to say forgotten about, but he wasn't used as much as he was in the 60s and 70s.
In fact, people were getting away from just that country sound.
Yeah.
And Vince is like, no, man,
that's what I like.
That's what I want.
Like The Last of Us, like those records in the 80s and 90s are phenomenal, and a lot of it was working with Paul.
Yeah.
But then, someone on the complete other spectrum, Post Malone has that big F1 Trillion country record that was assembled with Derek Wells.
Right.
And Derek made the band, or helped get the live band going, and one thing he included was a pedal steel player.
Right.
Which is Chandler Walters. He's a Nashville guy. I think he's 21, 22. So it's like, it's there.
Right. Yeah.
We just did a rig rundown. It'll be online before, when I see this, it'll be on there. Hopefully you guys have watched it. Is with this kind of all indie country guy, kind of remind me of Ryan Adams and the Cardinals.
Oh.
His name's MJ Lenderman. He has pedal steel in his band.
Cool.
There's a new guy that's coming out that hopefully we can get a rig rundown with, Zach Top.
Oh yeah,
He kind of sounds like Brooks and Dunn, like 90s style country, and he is a pedal steel guy in his band.
Yeah.
So it's there if you can find it, nowadays.
Yeah, and it is such a fun instrument to.
I love it. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah. It is an undeniably American stamp on things. Yeah. And I don't want to sound, overly patriotic, but I do think that Americans have this sort of, well, hell, I'll build it myself. I'll make my own thing. I'll make my own, improvements on it.
And I don't want to forget, and you did a great rundown with him, is someone that takes it to a whole nother level, is Daniel Lanois, in terms of how he uses pedal steel.
Right. That's a cool rig rundown to check out.
Yeah.
In fact, his tuning is just so weird. Oh, and then the Robert Randolph.
Yo, God.
We've done two of those. It's funny. I was, before we did this rig rundown with Robert Randolph, I did a show with him on the same bill, and I asked his tech, I said, what tuning is he doing? He said, I have no idea.
Well, speaking to the prominence of it, is that Robert does the lead-in or the theme music, if you say, for Amazon Thursday Night Football.
Really?
As it comes in, kind of like, Hank Williams Jr. in the day was ready for some football. It's Robert Randolph leads the telecast.
No
playing pedal steel.
How cool.
Yeah, so it's there.
Yeah, man. And that whole sacred steel is such a.
Yeah, Roosevelt. He's in Jelly Roll's band, another steel player.
Yeah.
Roosevelt Collier.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's in Jelly Roll's band.
Yeah, that's cool. Anyway, read the column.
Love steel.
Yeah, let us know what you think in the comments. And thanks for reading and watching.
Yeah. Next time.